Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, October 27, 2025. And I'm here with my weekly cross stitch update. Can't believe it's that late in the year, but here we are. I have a lot to share and I'm excited about it. So first off, I'll share my daughter's progress. This is the Shannon Christine Designs freebie that you can find on her Instagram or Facebook. And it's so cute. It's called Pumpkin the Cat, and my daughter did just a little bit. I don't think she'll have it done by Halloween, but it's still cute. So I'll show you her progress. She did a little bit on the hat. So she's really into reading her books right now. So that's a good, worthwhile pastime as well. So that's fun. Okay, for mine, I don't think I got anything this week. So my travel stitching, we did books of the Bible on Sunday, and we ended up driving separately. My husband and I went early, my kids went later, and so I tend to drive home when we have two cars there, even though my son drives there. So I only got to work on this to church, not home from church. So I did have to do a little bit back at home to finish it, which was fine. But I did these little flowers and this flower. Normally when I do the greenery little chunks, I can finish it in the car, but it is what it is. So here it is. This is 25 count Be Stitch Me Lugana in Through the Stones, 1/1 full cross with the called for silks. Yeah, got those little bits done. So now there's a good amount of words now before I get to more flowers. So I think the rest of this line and a whole nother line, I think, before there's some more greenery. So I'll be in the brown for a while. But that one's fun. This one, I have decided this one and Beachcomber are going to be my top two contenders for travel stitching next year for like waiting for the kids, since I'll probably do my newest temperature pattern, which is not yet finished, to and from church on Sunday. So that's my plan for that one. I already showed that. I did a little bit of Cats in the Rain as travel stitching, and I think once while I chatted with my sister, this is a Madame Chantilly, and I did some, I think, yellow. I'll have to show you when I was talking with her, but then I needed to get to these raindrops because I want to work from the top down, and I'm already getting into here. So there's a lot of raindrops that I needed to do, and it was hard to do that while on a call in this mediocre lighting in this room because my main stitchy spot is elsewhere, but I don't want to call down there because it's in the middle of everything. So I took this with me as travel stitching. I'm like, well, there's great light when I'm out in the car because we're outside pretty much. So I did 202 stitches on Tuesday, 72 stitches on Wednesday, and it's now at 34.92%. And this is a 40 count linen in Vintage Stormy Night, 1/2 full cross. So I got I'm doing B5200 instead of white, instead of blanc, but all the rest are called for colors. So I got some more jacket done, I'm pretty sure. So when I come back to this, I'll probably work on the kitties, start working on the kitties, which is really fun. So most likely when I chat with my sister this week. And this will be part of my plans for my new Daily 30 game, which I'll share at the end, so stay tuned. For the month of November, that's what I meant to say there. So, what else? My regular travel stitch, I got back to working more on Roses by It's So Emma. This is part of their Stitchy Seed Packet series. Picked my own colors and didn't get as much time on this because I was working on Cats in the Rain for a little bit, but I got a decent chunk. So here's where this one is at now. It no longer looks like the Operation Man from the Operation game. Now it looks like a rose, and I'm pretty happy with my color choices. It's not as warm red as the picture, but it's a pinkier red, but I like it. It's more me. And I got most of the words done, so I'll finish the words and start in on the border before coming down and finishing the rest of the rows. So that's gonna keep chipping along this week. Okay, so my temperature stitching for the month of October has been working on Produce Patterns by Janet Stever, charted by Pain Free Crafts, and they are retired now. I bought them right as they were being retired, and I started all 6 of them here in the month of October. So I've still been chipping away at them, doing 30 minutes a day on whichever one kind of corresponds with the temperature for the day. I have them all assigned 1 or 2 digits. So the first one that got worked on was strawberries. This one actually came out 3 times this week, and I started all of them in the upper left-hand corner, but it's all this like woven border on all of them, and it's charted slightly differently in all of them, but it is still roughly the same thing. And there's a lot of color changes in here to get it to look like that. So I made sure on all of them to kind of fast track to something discernible before I put these away for the month. So this one, I got to this bud, and I actually worked on it a little bit more here yesterday. Did the border the first couple times, and then yesterday I'm like, I need to do some more like actual fun stuff. I'm gonna go let Smokey in and I'll be right back. Okay, here is strawberries. All of these are on a 28 count white Jobelin, 1/1 full cross. So a half hour is somewhat limited in the full cross aspect, but I got 98 stitches the first day, 89 the second day, and 68 here on Sunday. So I did more in here, and I'm picking symbols in this corner, but like every square is a different color. So I pick a symbol, kind of scatter it through, pick another symbol, scatter it through, and so I still haven't finished the first 10 by 10 square. Which is why I kind of wanted to come down here and do more. I did a little bit of the red, and I picked a green and did more green. So that was fun to work on that. So that's coming along. It is now at 7.55%, which again, there's a tiny bit of really pale stitches around the edge of all the pieces that I marked off that I'm not going to stitch. So that this one has the most of that I marked off. So its percentage is a little off, but that's okay. And here's Smokey. Yeah. Okay. The next one was Peaches, which I believe came out today, but it only had 1 day this past week. So I will be working on this again today. Here is Peaches. And I came over to this stick. So that's the identifying mark on this one that's started. So maybe I'll work more on the stick, or potentially I could even, since it's the upper left corner, I could even maybe count and get some top of the peach started. That could be really fun. We'll see what I feel like to doing today. But that sounds really great. So here is this one. It's got 151 stitches, and it's now at 4.22%, including that little bits around the edges that I marked off. So I think some of the days, if I want to finish my string, I will go beyond a half hour, which with the numbers probably happened this time. But you know, it's okay. So that one, I got that stick started, I'm pretty sure. So I think it would be fun to see if any of that peach would make sense to do, or if it's too scattered, I might not. But if there's a color that makes it, you know, start to come alive, that could be really fun. Then Eggplant came out twice. Here's this one. And this one, I have a couple of these like grasses, maybe just one grass started. I don't want to get too far down because I do work from the top down with the way I hold my fabric, but I want to have some identifying features. So I got to do a little bit of something. And I don't know, maybe I did a little bit more of the grass, but not a ton, and then more in the border probably. So this one got 80 stitches the first day and 119 stitches the second day, 4.01%. And that's pretty fun. they're all kind of coming together. This one probably got more work in the border as well. I'm trying to be good and going back and forth to do some border and some fun stuff. And then bell peppers got 1 day. And this one, I have a little bit of this leaf done, and then I think I put in at least one length of thread in this flower, so it's very pale, but it had some nice, there's a lot to do with like one color. I could just do a whole bunch. So I got 100 stitches on this one, and it's now at 4.22%. So you can see that color, even though it's really pale. Working on the white is actually pretty nice, because if it were a tan, then the background colors would blend in too much. But white, there isn't really a whole lot of white. There's some, but these are like more creamy colors, so they still show up okay. And it looks like I have a little bit all the way out to here as well. So that's fun. So I'll keep doing this. I didn't work on tomatoes or blueberries this week, but I just work on whichever one goes with the assigned temperature, the high temperature from the previous day. And I will be continuing to do this through the end of October, so through Friday. And then I'll start a new Daily 30 game, which I'll explain at the end because that's in plans. I also did 2 projects for the Great British Baking Show Stitchy game. I had a little bit of stitching. I wanted to finish up. Oh, I forgot to bring my cover page, but for In the Beginning, it's a really old Dimensions kit. I started it in '99, and it was a kit that was out even before that. So here's the cover. I'll put that in. And then here is what I got to. I did 2 more lengths of floss on this than I had last time, so now I got the 4 lengths total that I needed before this one got retired. This is an 18 count antique white Ada, and I did the rest of that color in the tail. There was a little bit more than 2 lengths of floss, but I had to finish it. So I went ahead and finished all of that color in the peacock's tail. And this one was, the person that went with this got eliminated last week, but they had some other things to do too. So I needed from previous weeks. So I had 4 lengths of thread I needed to do on this one. And that's done now. So this one got all of its goals. So far, I'm not really able to stitch ahead a whole lot, but I'm at least picking out the person that got eliminated and then doing anything else that they had required like stuff from previous weeks. So I got that one in on Friday, and then Saturday I did the stitches for the person that was eliminated this week. And so that was the project Chaplain's Garden, and they had 1 length that I needed to do on this from the week before, a previous week. Yes, the week before, and then 2 from this week because the eliminated person gets 2 lengths. So 3 lengths total. I worked up here in this hodgepodge of tree. This is a kit, so I'm doing all the kit materials. I got this when I was in high school probably, so this is super old too. The date on it is 99, so could have started it back then. This is a light blue 14 count Ada, 2/1 faux cross. So here is where I worked up in here. I did a peach, green, and brown. So like this peach stuff, and then some of the greens, and then the browns. Maybe that started with that. So some colors, which was fun, 1 length of each. And this is definitely on the short list of things that I would love to put in Pattern Keeper because it's so full of confetti. I think it would be so much nicer to work on in Pattern Keeper because you can select a symbol and then see where it goes, because it's hard to tell with super heavy color change areas, like where the next symbol is, because there's so many symbols all in that one little space. So, but it does take a long time to get these old patterns. I know that one has a PDF option. It's a Marty Bell design. I think on Etsy there's a PDF, but I have already contacted them and it is not Pattern Keeper compatible. So there's no point in buying it. So I might as well just suck it up and do it myself, but it's intense. So I will probably need to do it one 10 by 10 square at a time, charting each little symbol, and it's gonna take a while. So that one in the beginning is my current one that I'm in process of charting out so that it will be able to be used in Pattern Keeper. Still got a little ways to go, but I did make some progress this week on that. But it's a good amount. It's not an easy thing or a quick thing, I guess I should say. It's not quick. So people who are looking for a quick fix to get their paper patterns in Pattern Keeper, that's not it. But it will be fully compatible when it's done, except for the back stitching. So, the other things, oh yes, let's see. Let's do the Gridiron Grind first, because that's a known game, and then I'll share my new game that I'm adding on, because I'm crazy, just like this. Crazy Wonderful Owl Family. This is by Heaven and Earth Designs. It's the no background version. I'm doing mine on Picture This Plus Glacier, 28 count. And I'm stitching 10 stitches per point that our family team, the Denver Broncos, get in each of their games. And so they had a great game. We got a lot of points. Thankfully, we started getting points in the first quarter, so I was able to just start stitching right away, but I was only about halfway done with what I needed to get done by the end of the game. They ended up with 44 points. So I needed 440 stitches, which I'm committed to this. So I went ahead and wanted to do it, but I only had about 220 when the game was over. So I just kept going and till I got it all done. So I got 440. This is a full cross pattern too. So it is not super speedy, and there's a good amount of color changes, but the colors also flow rather well. So it's not terrible, but it did take me a little while to get all that in. After 440 stitches, this is now at 11.68%, and it's on the 28 count, 1/1. So I'm picking symbols in here. So this kind of top of his eye is pretty much done now. Some of the colors kind of came around the bottom of the eye, a little smattering in the wing, some down here. Don't think any of it went into Mama Owl this time. So, but yeah, it's coming along. So that one will keep chipping away at that one with every Broncos game. And I'm really enjoying it, because especially when I get to work on it while they're playing, it's extra fun. Like I was like, hey, I just finished my stitches for the first touchdown and we were about to get our third. I was like, well, I'm a little behind, but that's okay. It's a good problem. When they had a lot of offense, it's a good problem for the stitching, because the team did well. So there you go. And then I have Charlene over at Flights of Fancy has come back from a long hiatus of Flosstube. And she's doing Gridiron Grind for the Broncos because they live in Colorado, but she's also doing some stitching for the Nuggets, which is basketball, NBA basketball. And I haven't been following the NBA for a while, and my family hasn't either. But I was thinking, but my son is going to our college alma mater, and he's occasionally maybe going to go to their basketball games. So that made me think, maybe I should stitch for our college's basketball games. And they started on Thursday. Their season started on Thursday, and I think I was watching her video earlier in the week. I'm like, hey, I could totally do this. So I picked a piece that, it's a Christian college, so I figured I could do one of my crosses. And at first I was thinking I would do Butterfly Rose Cross, but that one is, or I'll show you that one. It's this one, and it's closer to being done because it's smaller. I'm not doing the background, but it's full crosses and there's a lot of counting So I figured I don't really need another thing that's going to take me forever to add to my plate. This one is another cross. He is Risen by Donna Gelsinger. It's a full size. I am stitching all of it, but I am doing the background in half stitches. I'm going to do the cross, the hill, and the letters in full crosses to make sure they are crisp, and then all the clouds and sky will be half cross. So it's going fast. Like a lot of this blue up here is just like whipping back and forth. There is some counting because it's not solid. It's like kind of feathered as the colors change, but it's quick. Like we got 79 points in our first game. We lost, but 79 is the number I was working with. I'm not doubling my half stitches. It's just straight up what Pattern Keeper says. I finished 79 stitches and I'm done. I got it done in like 10 minutes. So I'm like, I can do this. And same with the next, we had 2 games this week, and the next one on Saturday had 93. We won that game, which was nice. So here is this one. And this is on 28 count. Might be a Monaco, and it's a 2/1 half cross. And I just did the same color, still on my needle, back and forth right here. And that got both games, and it went really fast, and I'm pretty happy. This will get some attention. So it's small bits of attention. It takes me 10-15 minutes to get it done. I can squeeze it in here and there, and I will work on this in like once or twice a week for just that little bit. It's 1 stitch per point. It's an even distribution because they have more points per game usually than football, and it'll keep going until March. So, and then in April, I was already planning to do all my cross patterns for part of my Daily 30 challenge in the month of April because of Easter. So I was like, well, I will get extra time on that one, and which is good because it's the biggest one of all my cross designs, so it needs the most attention. So that was great. So that is fun. There's only 1 game this coming week on Halloween. Oh no, there's a second. They have a tournament, so they have the 31st and the 1st. So the 2 more possibilities for some stitches in the next week. So that's a fun one. Let's go. Is that all my bonus stuff? I think so. So we had my regular stitching. My gift stitch for this week was Beartime Stories. This is a Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Randall Spangler, and it's the mini. And I have kind of been getting bored of trying to fill in the head. I did a lot of filling in the bear's head in the past few months. And I kind of just want to go back to typewritering and filling in from the top down. And so I talked to my son about it. He knows I'm working on this. It's not a surprise. And sometimes he'll help me kind of figure out the direction. If I like, should I work on this, or what do you think about this? So he was pretty happy with how much I've done on the head. And before I go up and start filling in from the top down, he wanted me to fill in the biggest gap that had not yet been worked on. So I'm working on the bear's head, but there's a big gap right in here that had a lot of empty fabric, and he wanted that filled in a little bit more before I start filling in from the top down, which I may go back and forth from the different methods as I go, but I'm kind of excited to start doing that. So far, I think I did some in the head the first day, and then the second day I did 1 color in these pages and didn't quite get that color done, but I'll finish that color next month and then start doing my typewriter method at the top. So this one got a total of 1,086 half stitches over the 2 days. And this is a 40 count Verdal, 1/1 full half cross. It's now at 42.65%, which is exciting. And so yeah, I think I did a little bit more in the head, and then I started filling in. This color is done like all over here, and then up here. So there's still a little bit more right here to fill in of that color in the pages, but it's cool because you can start to see the flow of the book better, which is fun. So next month, I'll hopefully get that filled in and then start picking symbols here. I'll do 1 length wherever it goes, pick the next symbol, 1 length wherever it goes, and then just keep moving my way across to get this more solid up here, which will be fun. So that was enjoyable. Then my whipgo call for, my second whipgo call for October here was Cupcake Dreams, which is one I would really like to get done this year. This is by Tilton Crafts. This was a former freebie, and now it's part of a larger chart with lots of cupcakes. This one is on a 28 count mint green. It's hard to tell when I get closer that it's green, but a mint green Jubilee, 1/1 full cross, another full cross one. So this one got, I didn't add them together, 328 on the first day, 318 on the second day. So over 600 stitches, which is pretty good. 93.83%, including the white background that I had already taken out that I was not going to stitch. So finished one color, actually two colors. I think I finished two, well, no, I don't think so. I think I finished one color and got halfway done with another, and then maybe the next, this coming week, I have this for 2 more days, and then I think I can get half of, I can finish that color in the first day and then half of the next color the following day. It's getting very close. I'm color completing this. So that's fun. This one, this is, so I'm going to work on this again today, this week, Wednesday, Thursday of this week. And then what got called? I think it got called for December on whipgo, because the whipgo calls were drawn this weekend. So we know what the rest of the year holds. And yes, that Cupcake Dreams was brought out again in December. And I did the math, how many I need to do every day. And it's like 312 stitches on each of the 8 days that I have it assigned for whipgo. I managed to make that this week, but that's not a guarantee that I'll have that much time every time, on all 8 of those days. It worked the first 2, but you know. So this one is also gonna go into my game for Daily 30 in November, just to make sure it gets done this year and I'm not scrambling at the end of the year trying to finish it. So that one will be part of my plans in the future at the end of the video. Then I've been picking 2 pieces, this month it was a Fancy Lady on Friday and a Golden Kite on Saturday, to kind of just make sure everything on my whip list gets touched at least once this year. So Friday was Cottage Garden Fairy by Mirabilia, and I actually had a little bit of time on Friday. Last Friday I worked on Stargazer and didn't get very much time. One length of thread that I had to finish on Saturday. This one I got a few lengths of thread in, which is nice. And I worked mainly in this, I think only in this wing right there. I had just the outline started last time and I got it, the top of the wing kind of filled in, including some Kreinik sparkly, which was fun. So this is a 32 count Lugana by Under the Sea Fabrics in Dappled Hollow, and it's 2/2 full cross. So I worked in the wing. You can see the Kreinik sparkling. It's only a half stitch of Kreinik, which is the number 4 braid, which is great, super easy and quick to stitch. But then I got in several of the browns too, which is, it seems weird to have brown wings, but they're, you know, pleasant browns. They're more rosy hued browns, so they're not bad to stitch on. They're nice. So that was nice. I got a little bit done on that one. And then my Golden Kite for this week was La Soiree. This is the medium one, and I'm cropping off the top row of pages, all background, which is great because the background's so boring. And then this much of the side here, so it's just the girls. And I did a little bit in here in this white panel that's got like twist cable pattern on it. And it's all light colors, and some of them blend in a little bit. It's kind of hard to tell what I'm doing. I was faithful. I did several colors in there, but then I also, one of the colors actually ended up in her skin, and I already had a little bit of her hair started. So I'm like, hey, I could go over and add a color in her skin. So then I did more in her skin. I did a second brown and a second skin color, and that made me happy. So this one got 421 half stitches. I think I need to hold something up behind this one. And I got a tiny bit of, started on the next girl because I had more of that brown on my needle. So here is this one now. Like I said, 421 half stitches. This is 2 over 1 half stitch on 24 count Congress cloth, I think in an ivory color. It's now at 24.14%, but that's including the pages that I marked off. So I worked up in here, picking symbols and kind of filling them in. And then I did one more brown in her hair, which ended up starting the top of this girl's hair. And then 2 shades of skin. So that's exciting. A little bit more going on there. So success. And then because of so many gridiron grind stitches, I once again didn't get a whole lot done on autumn montage, which is a little bit disappointing, but it's fine. It's fine. So this is my seasonal Sunday piece for October, so this won't come out again until it comes up in plans next year. I'm working up here. I have it pretty much this top section finished to about there. And then I was picking symbols right through here. So this leaf now is all done. And then I kind of scattered throughout here a little bit of the, you know, the colors that I had on my needle. 121. This is a full cross project too. So it ends up, there's counting and it's full cross. So it's not like super quick to get progress like that. He is risen background. It was like so fast. This is now at 3.51%. 1 over 1 full cross on 28 count mushroom Lugana. And so I did a green and I don't know, some stuff in there. I think this might have come out some too, I'm not sure. I think there was one that I could have kept going and I said, nah, I don't want to count. I'm going to go back and pick another color. So, but this leaf I think is all the way filled in, which is nice. So it got some love. Not a ton over the course of October, but that is okay. I don't expect these to necessarily ever get done. They're just kind of always going to be available to stitch on during that season. And that's fine. That's their purpose. So I think it's time for plans. So this coming week, I will, what do I want to do? I guess I'll talk about my main pieces. My gift stitch for the last week of the month is Ranunculus, which is always a joy to get out. This is by a Cooler Design Chart designed by Nancy Rossi. And this is one that is, you know, half stitches and block colors and stuff. It does go pretty fast. So this is where this is at. I believe this is a 24 count Congress cloth in soft mocha or something. 2 over 1 half cross. That's my starting point. This is so fun. It's like a mini tapestry. That'll get 2 days, today and tomorrow. So I'm excited about that one. And then Cupcake Dreams will come out for 2 more days because of my whipgo goal of 4 days per square that gets called. And then I thought it would be fun, since Friday is Halloween. Oh, I forgot to bring out my cover page, but I will put a picture here of what Halloween Fairy looks like by Mirabilia, Nora Corbett. This is one that was in a magazine. I think you can get it from Hirschner's, perhaps. And so I work on this on Friday and Saturday. 31st and the 1st. Here's where I'm at now. This is a 32 count Lugana by Fabric Flare in Mushroom Slushy. And it's 2/2 full cross. So the top bit, this is a printed fabric, which is fun. The top bit is all done. All the moon and the swirls are done. Her head is done. I think like this bit is done. So there's still like her trick-or-treat banner and like all the pumpkins and everything. So the rest of her skirt. So there's still a good amount left to do, but this one will maybe be on my short list to finish soonish, next year maybe. I don't know, we'll see. So I'll give this 2 days. Saturday will be really busy. We are hosting, our high school is hosting a marching band competition, so I'll be helping with that. Part of the day, we'll be watching the performances part of the day, so we'll see how much I get done on that on Saturday, but hopefully I can get some time on it on Friday. And then my new seasonal Sunday piece for November will be Stitching Shelf, my final rotation on Stitching Shelf for the year. This is Stitching Shelf Max Colors, but it's the regular size. Artwork by Amy Stewart, and I will be working in the autumn row. It's the last month of official autumn. Each month I pulled it out for, each season I pulled it out for a month of Sundays and like kind of did a little bit. And I'm hopping around within that shelf wherever I am interested in working. So I don't know exactly where I'll work, but I'll show you when I get done. So this one is a big one because I have little bits all over started. And I think hopefully that's all of it. Yeah. This is a 28 count tea-dyed Monaco. It came that way, I didn't tea-dye it. And this is the starting point, I don't have anything over there, of the autumn shelf. So I could work more on that dog. I could put more structure in with shelf or books. Probably do that. I don't have a whole lot done on the autumn shelf. So it would be nice to get some more structure in. Like, so if I find some bookshelf spines, like here in the summer branch, I did some spines or background of black. So that's the spring shelf. I like to pick, especially since it's only one day, I'll pick like that blue I think I did this time and some of this background over here. I'll pick a color that has a lot going on to see some structure, and then just go to town with the one color on that day. And then maybe the next week I'll pick a different section and a different color and kind of do as much as I can in my time. So that's been fun to do this year. So I'll get that one out on Sunday. Hopefully I can get more than 45 minutes on it, but we'll see. Since it's half cross, and if I pick a solid color like that, maybe I can get a decent amount in before I have to put it away and go to bed. So my main, I guess I don't need to go into that. My whipgo call, the whipgo calls for November were both colors of the seasons, which is very exciting because then I can for sure get that one done. Probably by the end of the month, I can sub in something else even for those spots that I was hoping to get finished. Because I don't think it's going to take me 8 days to finish colors of the seasons, but if I need it, I have it. And so what I wanted to do, I've been kind of toying with how should I manage my daily 30 time, my bonus time in November and December. Originally, October through December was kind of open, and I was going to do like focus for finish pieces, the things with the least amount of stitches remaining in Pattern Keeper, and you do the high and low temperature added together and stitch that many stitches on the one with the least amount until it's done, and then move on to the next one. And that was kind of my original plan a while back. I decided at some point I don't want to have a stitch goal. It's a little bit too stressful, especially if that number gets big and it takes me a while to finish it. So I scaled it back and said only daily 30 goals, a 30-minute cap. And if I have time and I want to finish my string, it's fine, but I don't have to keep going past the 30 minutes without breaking my own rules. So during October, I ended up throwing in those produce patterns and had kind of a bonus thing with that in October, which was fun. And then, so I still didn't quite know what I wanted to do for November and December. I still want to focus on my projects that I want to try to finish this year. And then we have been seeing floating around Flosstube the past few weeks a new Stitchy game, because there's been games for all sorts of shows, Great British Baking Show, Big Brother, sports, you know, all the things. And even Survivor, I think somebody made a game for that. Alchemist Stitcher created a game for Flosstube watching, because if you're like me, much of your TV time is spent watching Flosstube, not actual shows. I'm like, well, that sounds really fun. And so I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to scratch that itch to do Flosstuber Frenzy, which I think is what they are calling it, just for my daily 30 for the month of November. So, and then in December, I think I will do daily 30 monogamously on things I really want to finish. Daily 30 until they're done. Pick up the next one, daily 30 till it's done. So that one won't have any like randomness assigned to it. It's going to be monogamous every day for 30 minutes until it's done. But here in November, I can still play around a little bit. I got some wiggle room. There's enough built in my main stitching plans to finish the bigger things that I am not worried that they'll get done. So let's just jump in and do it. So what I decided to do is I am picking, I think some of the original goals or the original game creating rules were similar to some of those other games where it's a stitch count thing per every time they post a video, you do this many stitches. Every time they show a start, they do this many stitches. Again, I don't want to do that. So all I'm doing is 30 minutes when they post a video. So I thought, well, I need to pick people who are roughly weekly posters. I have lots of people I watch that are monthly posters, but I'm only doing this for 1 month. So I don't want to pick a monthly poster and have one time that project comes out. So I wanted to pick somebody who would come out ideally about once a week. If you got a bonus video, then I'll have to figure out how to throw in another 30 minutes. But if hopefully they'll all get some time every week or so. So I picked, and even within that, I had more people. Only wanted 7. So then if everybody has one video put out that week, I'll have a daily 30 project for every week, for every day of the week. If somebody has a bonus content video thrown up there, I'll need to add another 30 minutes in the week somewhere for that video. But I didn't want less than 7 in case there was no bonus content and like somebody didn't post 1 week, and then it would be like, oh, well, now what do I do for that 30 minutes? So I wanted to have at least 7, and narrowing it down was a little tricky for which 7 Flosstubers to choose. So I tried to pick the people that are fairly consistent and tied in a little bit with the projects that I have going on. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to list them alphabetically, and I'm going to show you the project that goes with it, unless I've already showed it previously in the video, and then I'll just say it. So the first one is Absent-Minded Stitchers. This is Joe and Terry, and they have come back in the past couple months, and they're pretty regular now, and they have bonus content too. So I think they've been posting their proper update video every 2 weeks, but then they usually have some other things thrown in there. So overall, they're posting at least once a week. So I thought they would be a good one. And I'm assigning them My Story by Jeanette Douglas. So whenever they post a video, I'll do 30 minutes on My Story. And I have this whole bottom chunk of elements to do, and then like the bottom chunk of these specialty stitches to do. I guess these are some elements too. So I'm doing my own colors for this that are similar to what's called for. This one has I think this was called on a one whipgo square for December. So it'll get 4 days proper in December, plus whatever I get here in the Flosstube Frenzy game for my daily 30 stitching in the month of November. So this is 32 count. I think it's a lamb's wool linen by Witchell, so it's stiff, which I actually kind of like for the specialty stitches. holds its own a little bit. So working on these snowflakes right now, and then I'm just kind of filling in this stuff on my way down. So it takes a surprisingly long amount of time for the size of this piece because each element, you know, takes longer than I expect sometimes, but you know, it is what it is. I don't need that one done this year, but it would be nice to clear it off my plate, and because it's on the smaller side. So that's a fun one. The second in alphabetically is Seazook Stitch. And for her, I chose Floral Alphabet because I believe I started this for her birthday a couple years ago. And she just, I think, finished hers earlier this year, which is great. This is JBW Designs. I'm doing mine with 3 different colors. And I charted mine into Pattern Keeper. So now I know how many stitches are left, and it's like, that's really close. So it's not, again, not a must finish, but it's close to a finish, so it made the cut. So here's my start. And this is a 28 count Demicel by Picture This Plus. It's a 2/2 full cross with those silks. And I think this is like the edge. The edge of the H will be the edge of the piece. So it's not that big, and it's gonna go down to like here. So there's a lot left, but overall it goes fast once I get going on it. And now that it's in Pattern Keeper, I've already made the decisions of where the blue, green, and pink are gonna go. So that'll take away decision delay as I'm stitching. I can just stitch, so that'll be fun. So whenever Carolyn posts a video, I'll give this one 30 minutes. And I'm gonna start this on the 1st. If somebody, whoever posts before my stitchy session starts on the 1st, they'll be first to get their daily 30 in. If nobody on my list posts on the 1st before by the time I am ready to stitch, I will go back, and the person that posted most recently before that will get started, and then I'll just move from there going forward. So we'll see. It is a Saturday though, so it's likely that somebody will post on the 1st. I think Carolyn usually films on Sunday or Saturday, not always. So it's possible at the very least she might have one that goes up on Saturday. So we'll see. 3rd is Flights of Fancy. This is, I mentioned her earlier, Charlene. She's come back and she's hoping to do weekly videos, so that would be great. I assigned her Let's Get Spooky by Imaginating, Ursula Michael. And this is one I was working on it for earlier in the, like a month ago, and realized there's not that, it goes pretty fast. There's not that much left. Let's try to get this closer to a finish. So this is where I'm at. And this is a 32 count Sleigh Ride, I think, or Sleigh Bells. I think it's Sleigh Bells by Live and Die LA. The cross stitches are 2/2. The back stitch is 1 strand. So I'm gonna fill in the kitty, and then I can move down to do the pumpkin. So that'll be fun. And then 4th is Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter. She usually posts once a week as well. Oops. And then I assigned her Cupcake Dreams because she likes full coverage. Cupcake Dreams is technically a full coverage, even though I'm not stitching the background. And then the 5th one is Leanne Stitches. She's been pretty consistent doing one video a week. So I will do Secret Garden for her because she likes reading books. And this one isn't about Secret Garden, the book, but it's called Secret Garden, and there is a book called Secret Garden. So I'm like, there's a connection there. So this is the one by Historical Sampler Company. It was a mystery. Now it is all out. And it is springy, but I would like it done sooner than later, so it made the cut. This is where I'm at now. This is a mystery Live and Die LA green. I think it's a 28 count. I'm doing 1/1. So that's a fun one. And then the 6th one is Max Color Stitcher. She is fun to watch, and she usually has a pretty consistent filming schedule. She loves full coverage. I think everything she works on is full coverage, but she also loves stitching cats. So I thought Cats in the Rain would be a good one to do for her channel. So I showed that earlier as well by Madame Chantilly. So whenever I'll do that when I call with my sister, and then I'll daily 30 whenever Max Color Stitcher puts out a video. And then my last one is Dina over at Sit, Stay, and Stitch, and she loves lavender and lace, so I thought Winter Rose was a good one to put for her videos. I don't know that she has a specific day she posts, but she is pretty faithful at getting about 4 every month out. So this one is pretty close to being finished, so I thought that'd be a good one to have in this list too. This is a 46 count, I think, or 45 count or something. Vintage Misty Rain, I think, by Lakeside Linens, and it's a 1/2 full cross. There is some blends in here, so I think one of the green, like some of the greens, I did a 2-strand full cross. It is pretty thick, so I think I'm going to consider doing a 2-strand half stitch in the dress, or I might do like one bottom leg is one color, top leg is another color. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. So there is that one. So those are the 7 Flosstubers that I will be doing my daily 30 stitching in with starting on Saturday, on November 1st. So I'll do that all of November. And then whenever in December, I will be monogamous with the ones I really want to try to finish and do it until they're done. Daily 30 until they're done. So that's kind of my plan with that. So I'm excited to get more finishes. So this is good. And I think that's everything I have to share with you. And Smokey, yeah. All right, so with that, I hope you have a wonderful week, end of your October, beginning of November, and happy stitching. Bye.